What's up, guys? So,
What's going on?
this is Devil's Advocate episode 12. Welcome, welcome. If you had seen the last two episodes, what we were basically doing was reacting to Fresh and Fit's Value Entertainment live show, and it was like a long video. So, we stretched it to this is the third video on it. But we will probably this will be the last video on it. I want to see if we could get onto different topics or just different videos. But yeah, I mean, we'll scrub to it. There's sections that we haven't seen, so I definitely say you guys should check it out if you guys want to see the whole video. Um, but let's say so far, what do you think? I mean, here my friend here, Average Joe,
What's going on, guys?
has been a bit of a critic of Fresh and Fit, but he's the critic in the sense that, like most people, you only get the clips or the short sound bites that the TikToks or whatever put on online. So that's what his basis for Fresh and Fit is. So that was kind of like the critic of those materials where you don't get the whole picture, which most people do, right? You only get the sound bite, the most outrageous or most entertaining sound bites,
Yeah.
which pretty much clouds your views, which most people do. So, but over this time where he's over about two, full couple hour podcasts, he really got to see Fresh and Fit and get a bit of at least a longer glimpse of them. Some pretty big names in the manosphere world. So what are your thoughts so far?
I mean, getting to hear his reasoning on some things instead of just like you said, the sensational clips. I can see where he's coming from. Not complete lunatic. There's still some things I disagree with. There's still some things I don't like all the time about the way he delivers his points. I think they're manufactured sometimes to be sensational, but there are some things I see eye to eye with him on. So it's been an interesting sort of journey.
I mean, I would definitely like to talk about that, where people have to understand. People have to get a little bit of critical thinking. At the end of the day, it's entertainment. People who make these videos online, TikToks, YouTubes, whatever, they're trying to entertain you, get you to view their materials. And what I've learned, right, is that it is better to either provoke you with happiness, or, I mean, like with anger or love, than it is for you to be nonchalant about them. If you don't care about them, then you don't even think about them. So even if you hate them, that's still some people would hate watch people. So you gotta, I always say it's critical thinking, where that's why I don't really care about how you say something, but more about what you say, because how you say something could always be there's a little bit of what you call it, just they're trying to get a sensation, right? Trying to get some kind of something out of you.
Drop a reaction.
So, yeah, it's not necessarily about the message that's being said, but that's we're we'll still continue and we'll check out this last part of the reaction. So let's get started.
Ask you this: who appreciates being simped on more, men or women?
That is such a freaking good question, by the way.
Because, and I'm going somewhere with that. If you get something all the time, it has no value. Okay? The reason why the woman needs to care more is because we're already operating from a deficit as a man. You're already getting simps hitting you up. You're already getting, opportunities. You're already getting guys willing to spend money on you, protect and provide for you.
Love.
For nothing more. Hold on, but the point is that women don't appreciate chivalry anymore, which is why I said chivalry is dead. So to overcorrect for this crazy discrepancy in 2023, the woman must care more about the man Because quite frankly, I hate to say it like this, women are terrible people when they have leverage. They don't appreciate things because they're given everything for simply existing. And I don't blame you guys for it. If I was 18 years old, having bad chicks willing to fly me out to LA to hang out with them, or being invited on yacht rides, or being invited to Dubai, whatever, for nothing more than the fact that I have a penis, I'd be a piece of shit too. But since I understand this, I know that men, right, need to be in a position where the girl likes him more to overcorrect for all the things that men have, for all the discrepancies I just mentioned, the severe deficit in the dating marketplace. Because you get all the things I mentioned just now for free. So women don't appreciate simps, but men do. That's why. You're going to get good treatment if you simp on your man, but he's not going to get good treatment if he simps on you.
Let me just, if I can, just give a quick, very tangible example. All three of us had to put in years of work, thousands of video, millions of dollars we've all made, just for the chance for the three of us to be on this stage hosting a show and being special guests. What have you guys done to be on the show? What have you guys, yeah, all we had to do is to get you amazing girls on the show was say, hey, we're doing a show. We need a bunch of girls. We got 50 women to say yes, and we picked 20 of you. And thank you guys for being here. But the qualifications and the standards to get on this fucking stage are very, very high if you're the dude, and not so high if you're the female. I'm sorry to say.
What? No one wants to admit this, but in 2023, women live life on easy mode because women are able to simultaneously double dip and act like a lady and get certain privileges, being treated like a lady, while also being able to be in their masculine and chase a career, etc. And I'll take it a step further. If they do decide to chase that career, a masculine one at that, they have an inherent advantage. You know, I saw that interview that you had with those two FBI agents. This is true. If you work in a masculine dominant field, women are promoted at a higher level, especially in male dominated fields. Like we have affirmative action here, and women have all the same rights and privileges that men do while having female privileges that men will never enjoy. So the reality is life is easier for women in 2023.
If there's a reason why a woman makes $1 million on OnlyFans, and there's 1.47 million women.
Because men give it to them.
They're doing terrible with her mic. The whole thing, her mic is always off.
Oh man.
Men give it to them.
You guys don't get to do that. You guys had to work very hard to get where you are. So we're not equal.
She had something in the back. Sorry.
Thank you,
Someone
John.
was trying to say something in the back.
Yeah, I just think you say, well, women don't have to do anything to get this opportunity to be on the stage, but I think it's because you successful men are giving us those opportunities. You men are sexualizing us, and you want us in the clubs, you want us at your table, you want us here, so we're here.
Awesome, and thank you for being here.
And here's the thing: we're not insulting you for taking the opportunity. I'm simply acknowledging that the opportunity exists.
Yes.
Right.
And by the way, how many female podcasts you see 3 females and 30 dudes up on stage being like, yeah, I'm out here, just a dude, looking to have an opportunity. You don't see it.
Here's the thing too. Adam, I don't know if you noticed it, right? Because what you just said was, the men are the ones inviting us and giving us these opportunities, etc. I always say on the show, privilege is invisible to those that have it. She said that knowing, right? Like it didn't even come to her mind that I'm getting these privileges because I'm a woman. She went ahead and said it anyway. It actually made your argument weaker. But women don't see it because privilege is invisible to them because it's so common. That's why I tell y'all, women live life on easy mode. So the only thing that they're going to respect is when they actually have to work for something. And that needs to be your validation, your attention, and your time.
I mean, you're kind of using us as decoration, you know.
Decoration.
It's like
That still does not.
opportunity
Hold on,
for you too, you know.
Not really.
I didn't know there would be this many women, and I wouldn't have enough time to like.
That proves my point that there's many of you, but one of me. Right. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like the things that make a woman attractive are extremely common.
But maybe.
Okay, well, let's digest it for a bit. Let's get some of your thoughts on that.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if his example right here is totally fair. Like
Explain.
They put on this show, and the whole point of having the show was that so they can express their opinions, and then you talk to women about what they think and what women think, get their point of view. So they had to invite women on the show. So then painting it as like a, you know, as like some sort of super privilege that these women got.
But you got,
Weird.
but it kind of is when you think about. Let's say this, they said it too. On the flip side, right? If there was 3 women hosts, they won't pick the average man that's on the street or necessarily men like me and you. Men wouldn't easily get a chance to go on to get their voice heard or get on stages or get media attention necessarily. Men don't really that's kind of his point in the sense that although yes they set up the stage, they look for the women, but they're saying more like it wouldn't happen in reverse or in inverse, where there's plenty of women podcasts, women shows, Oprah, all these things, but you don't necessarily see like the average Joe, the nobodies, the men that just walks around going on these stages.
I'm not disagreeing with the points he was making. I just said his example. I don't think he's talking to a bunch of women who are nobodies.
Well, a lot of these women are. I personally think that they're nothing special. Right? None of these women are anything like. They're not famous necessarily. So really, it's like they're just cute women, attractive women. So really, it's like I personally don't see any one of these women that are big names or whatever. So although they're pretty, so then maybe they're kind of better than average, but they're not. I won't just say they're anything special. So.
Well, I hear what he's saying. A man does have to work pretty hard to get the approval and attention of a woman or women. It's not always the other way around. I don't disagree that it should be. You should if you work hard for what you got, if you have self-confidence, you should make a woman kind of work for your attention. So what
do you think about that? He's basically saying in a relationship, a woman should love you more, simp for you, for kind of like the success of a relationship, like what he said in the beginning, right? What do you think of that part? Do you agree? What do you think? Like, let's say the love dynamic where she's the one who's, and I'm not saying, again, he's not saying that the man shouldn't love his wife at all, but let's say the balance where she's absolutely infatuated with him, where she can't. It goes back to the thing where she needs him instead of wanting him, right? We said this in the other future, in past shows, where that's the thing. That's the important thing for, maybe the success of a relationship, where she absolutely needs him. She's in love with him. Like he's her soulmate, crap like that, simping for him.
Okay.
Right. What do you think?
So I agree that it shouldn't be one-sided. It shouldn't be one-sided. It shouldn't be one-sided. It shouldn't be all just a man showering a woman with affection who doesn't appreciate it. So she has to reciprocate. She has to love you at least as much. Now, if you're advertising, or if you're in favor of classic gender norms, I guess, like they say, then the man, traditionally, that's been the man's role, right? To shower a woman with affection and to do all the work to get her and then do all the work to keep her. So, so I don't disagree that hey, yeah, a guy confident himself should get a woman who appreciates him, right? And it'd be great to have a woman to shower you with affection. I would love that, right? So I agree. I don't disagree with that. I think it should be like, 50-50. Now I don't. Yeah. I mostly agree with him.
Now, in a great world, right? Perfect world, 50-50 it would be great. But I personally think that in 2023, we have to think about the world we live in now. Um, 50-50 would be great, but in essence, women are showered with love and attention so much that I don't think it will last. It's not easy to last where you both love each other equally. Because I personally believe for men, just like what you were saying, right? He pretty much saying your type. Men, we're not getting showered with love like that. We're not getting simped on. So we appreciate, I think men in general appreciate love and affection more than women because women are inundated with, attention and love and shit like that. Men are not. So I think in a modern day relationship, if a woman is not loving you more than you love her, then she could be 1 foot out the door, because the next man, who knows, right? There's plenty of men always in her DMs, always giving her attention, always wanting to, be with her, have sex with her, and shit like that. So that could be a tricky thing where if she doesn't love you more than like I said, like she needs you, like simping for you, that it could waver. And I'm just more saying that it is in today's day and age where with social media, with access to more men than ever, it makes it the 50-50 dynamic much harder than in the past. So I can see why, personally, I would want to, and I've said it, I would love a woman immensely. All right. I will, be provider, protector, very traditional role, but I would want a woman that's kind of obsessed with me in an essence, right? Okay. Where like she's thinking about me every day, where she wants to come home, see me, things like that, where you can be sure that, you know what, you're the one that she sees as her soulmate. You're the one that she sees you, and every other man is invisible to her. That's how I would, now how I would love it now.
Now, is he saying it's a woman's responsibility to give that to a man, or is he saying it's the man's responsibility to get a woman to do that for them? What's he?
Well, I don't think he's necessarily talking about that part. He's saying that for the best possible outcome, that should be the way. Where because of, the dynamics of nowadays, right? Women with privilege and stuff like that, women with, such a huge amount of attention, that if a man wants the best possible outcome, his woman should be obsessed with him in an essence, right? Simping, where she would love him in spite of, I don't know, herself in this essence, right? Where he's not saying that men shouldn't treat women well, but if she should love him, even if it's a detriment to herself, kind of, right? It's just that way of loving, but doesn't necessarily say the man that should take advantage of it or not treat her well. But it's just that if she loves him, and that's a love that's kind of like, unconditional or obsessive and stuff like that, but she loves him despite whatever. Maybe this is a terrible example, but maybe the abuse victim shit like that, right? Where women love men that cheat or beat or abuse them, but they still love them. So despite everything, they still. But that kind of, even though I say that it's a terrible example, but it's actually a good example in essence too. Where here's a woman, right? Women have done it. Going back to cheaters and abusers. Why do these type of men deserve that type of love where she sees only him, where her life is in danger or her life is terrible, yet she doesn't see a life without him. I think that's the key right there, where she doesn't see a life without him. And those are extreme cases, but imagine that type of feeling put on a good man. That's the thing. That's the kind of the point. That's kind of point I think he's saying, and kind of point what I'm saying. Where why not? How much a woman that would love that, a woman that's in an abusive relationship and yet can't leave him, use that emotion, those feelings, those actions, and put it into a guy that's of value, that actually deserves it, and that's not going to treat you bad.
Okay. So I would probably say, I mean, what it sounds to me like he's talking about, I don't know if this is what he means or not, but I'll just talk about what I prefer. I'd want a person to love me well, we say unconditionally. There's always conditions to love.
Always.
I want.
We may talk about it in the future, because women love conditionally. Men love unconditionally.
Oh, well, okay, all right. But I want loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's what I would characterize. I would want loyalty from my woman. And you know, you would owe her the same. I think that I don't think it's a matter of one person loving the other more necessarily. I mean, that can happen, but I just think we love each other different. I mean, if in abuse cases, and it's a terrible situation for someone to be in. They're probably attracted to things in a man, and it's a combination of that and self-esteem issues. You know, because if you can get out of an abusive relationship, you should. If you can and you're not, it's because it's often because of, you know, something inside yourself.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I do get that.
So, and I mean that goes both ways. And a lot of times it's self-esteem issues. It's you know, and like just mental and emotional issues that will keep a person there. And an abuser is manipulative. But in a healthy relationship, I don't think I want someone very clingy. I don't think I want someone who has those issues, but I do want someone who values what I offer, and who's loyal to me. So yeah, I mean, that's
maybe I'm a little different. I like, well, there's levels to cleanliness, right? Where
Yeah.
if they're on me 24/7, that's you're too much. But I love affection. I'm a type of guy that I love affection. You know, I like PDA. I love a woman that wants me, right, and shows that she wants me.
Mhm.
So cleanliness is not a bad thing for me personally. And there's levels to it. Like I said, I mean, like if you want to, you know, kill me and bathe in my blood, I mean, you know, there's levels, right? But I mean, I don't mind cleanliness. I don't mind a little bit of a obsession. So that's just me.
okay. All right, cool.
There's a saying. Someone here could probably help me with this one in Spanish. The quieter you are, the more beautiful you are, right? Oh, somebody got it? Angie got it. Angie got it. Angie, say it really loud for the audience. There you go. Now they're going to be quiet after that. Claro. But the thing is, this guy fucking cloud. But the thing is, right? Why is it that that's a universal saying in all the different Latin countries? Why is it that, you know, men like quiet women, right? We've been saying that for years, whatever. Because women aren't valued on their opinions.
No, it's because you can't take pushback.
Oh, bro.
How many times have I told you to shut up because he doesn't like the pushback? Why is Steve not here? Because you don't like the pushback.
It's not about. Let me.
No, she can cook. I don't think she can cook.
Work hard to get the teenagers. I don't know about all that, buddy. I don't know about all that. I'm not co-signing on that thing.
You guys love the young ones and try to trap them.
The thing you don't understand is that pushing back is an inherently masculine trait, which is cool if you want to make money and be assertive and be dominant.
I want to tell you that I want to talk about this. Maybe we'll it's a short segment, but I want to touch on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it is again. I've been in a relationship with actually quite a few women that were strong, independent. You know, one of the recent relationship I had, she was a financial, you know, a banker kind of sense, right? She dealt with millions of dollars, big business, right? So, and I've even heard her on phones with clients, and she was cutthroat, literally, like she will like really cut their throat.
Okay.
So but that translates, and it's like at the beginning of a relationship, I thought that was hot, right? Because you are boss B,
Right.
but that you gotta I mean, a woman that's cutthroat to strangers, that's cute, that's hot, but you gotta think that type of woman will also be cutthroat to you. So, and I didn't realize that at the beginning until I'm in it, where this is the thing where pushback. Uh, Women think it's different. Where arguing, fighting, being aggressive, being combative, that is. It's not that women. One, it's not that men can't handle it, but men don't want to. You gotta think. So many times, women expect men to conquer the world, right? Become as wealthy as you can be, so you could provide for your family. Work yourself to the bone, so you can provide for your family. Give her all the things that she wants, and then you think that's great to come home to someone that now you also have to fight with, be aggressive with. You got to push back on his decision. Plus, you got to think of this: so many women ask for a man to be a leader. She doesn't want to lead him. How many women does not want a pussy of a man? So many women, and yet pushing back with a leader. Do you understand that dynamic? I mean, if he's a true leader, well, he's going to fight you on it. And then you're both just fighting. And what kind of man likes that kind of relationship? I've been there where, I want to lead a relationship, but I don't want to fight in a relationship. So with the relationship with that woman, I want to lead the relationship, but yet she is a strong, independent woman. She's cutthroat. So now I'm fighting with her on any decisions that I think I want to make. Or she just make those decisions without me, which is like, okay, so I'm useless. I'm not needed because you think you know best. This is the thing that women don't understand, and it's counterproductive. Even that woman, right? She said she wants a traditional man. She wants to be submissive. Yet she's not. Right? She's not a submissive person. But yet, I want to be a wife. I want to be submissive. I want a traditional man. I want a leader. But yet, you are not fit for that type of man, because that type of man you will fight on. So it's like it's counterproductive to what women want. And I think I would say a majority of women, that's how it is nowadays, where women are so strong, independent, yet there's I think it's genetically or biologically ingrained in them to want a man that's masculine, that's a leader, that takes charge, that works hard, all this stuff. Yet it's counterproductive to their new modern day personality, modern day ideology, where the women are now becoming men. So really, unless you're gay, a man with a man is like it's gonna butt heads, right? The personality of a man and a woman, and the man that you want to be masculine, well, those butt heads. And I said this: pushing back is so unattractive. I mean, giving an opinion is different than pushing back, right? But women that says push back, you are arguing with the man. You're fighting with the man. You are trying to question his decision making and counteract his decision making. What do you think?
I wouldn't want to be in a combative relationship. And yeah, that's not. If you can't, I guess you can't have two leaders. So if the one wants a man who's going to lead, she's got to be willing to follow his lead. So I definitely agree with that. There's degrees to it. Like you said, I mean, I don't want somebody just gonna. I don't want a slave either. I don't want to. I don't want. And that's the other extreme, right? She just listens and does everything you say and doesn't offer any of her own opinions. Doesn't have her own original thoughts. I want to hear what she's thinking. I want to know what's on her mind. She may disagree with something I want to do. I can consider it, and we can talk about maybe a compromise. But if the man is the leader and the head, and his decision is his decision, and his decisions are final, and that's the arrangement. So
Well, I always like to think it's like the president and vice president. At the end of the day, the vice president gives opinions, gives his thoughts. He has a bit of power, but end of the day, the president will sign off on things and he will make the final decision.
right.
Well, that's how it is.
I agree. I completely agree. But again, like remember what I said? We were talking about delivery. so if you're sitting there and you're sitting in front of a woman like that emotional one who said, "Yo, you don't like any pushback." If he says it like, "Listen, in a partnership, if the man's the leader, then the woman needs to be willing to follow his lead." That's a lot easier to digest than women are prettier when they're quiet. That doesn't sound.
Well,
now you got to fight. Now you got to argument. It's fun to watch, but I'm just saying. Like,
maybe I think about like it's just such an extreme nowadays, right? Where women are so empowered, so opinionated, so outspoken, so aggressive, so all this stuff, right? So masculine. So yes, it is a big extreme saying a woman should be quiet, right? But I think it's more like nowadays women are so combative. It's insane, right? And I guess I always said it, and Myron or Fit said it too, that it's offset, right? It's been pushed so far to the other side. So women are so combative. Women are so masculine. Where now, I guess to counteract it, you go to the extreme where just be quiet. You don't need to talk. But I'm not saying like you shouldn't be just like a robot. I definitely agree. I don't want a robot for a wife or for a girlfriend, but be quiet sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll say like what was I gonna say? If I had a thought, it's gone. So there's two types of like combativeness. I mean, all right, so a woman who is a successful career woman, a boss in the office at her job, knows how to like deliver commands and take over a room and tell other people what to do, and she can't turn that off at home. That feels masculine. That feels like it could be uncomfortable for the man if he's trying to lead in a relationship. But I think a lot of women, I'll say maybe a less pleasant side for men, a less pleasant side of femininity is sometimes combativeness. And I think that just comes from.
But I don't think that's femininity. Combativeness is not femininity. That's masculinity.
Well, I think it's different from dealing with a businesswoman who's making a demand. If a woman feels a certain type of way, and women are emotional,
yeah,
they feel that way, and they're gonna be loud about it because they're emotional, right? And usually a guy is in control. So how do I word it? I'm not saying that it's okay, but I'm saying sometimes a woman might need to remind herself, hey, I got to respect my man, and I have to respect his opinion, because she might see things a certain way and be like, no, this is how it should be. What are you doing? And it's frustrating for a man because you're like, calm down. This is the decision I'm making, and this is why, and this is what we're gonna do. You know what I mean?
That's the thing where I think that where I said back, before, where respect is, I think, one of the absolute in loving a man. If you don't respect your man, then obviously you won't love your man. I think that's 100% true. So any woman that shows no respect for a man, she obviously don't really love him.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I don't like to keep going back to like religion, but I guess this is sort of just my training. It was always, when we talked about marriage, it was always a man must love the woman more than he loves himself. And the woman must respect her husband. That's how it was worded in the Bible. And it was always because we would talk about this a lot, because I don't think a woman a good relationship, a woman with somebody she loves, I don't think she has trouble expressing her emotions because they're emotional. But knowing when to bring it down, bring it in, or turn it off, is what the man needs respect. And vice versa. The woman isn't always looking for you to, they want a leader. But they need affection too. And sometimes men have trouble showing affection. They're like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do to take care of you. That proves I love you. But they want, they still want hugs and kisses and flowers sometimes too. And we forget that. And the thing women forget sometimes is that men need respect. So it'd be like, I love you, and I'm trying to get you to do what's best for us. That's why you need to listen to me. You'd be like, yeah, but you need to calm down and show some respect, because I'm not feeling love if I'm not feeling respected. So that's the thing. I don't think it's necessary that the woman doesn't love her man, but that it's more of a challenge for her she has to remind herself to show the respect a man wants. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that
I
honestly believe that the best marriages that surviving the test of time encompass that. Exactly the things you're saying, right? A man knowing how to love a woman and a woman knowing how to respect a man. Yeah. I believe those would be the most, long-lasting relationships. A man knowing that, to give affection to his woman, while a woman knowing to respect a man and don't embarrass him, which, showing him public respect is very important for men.
Yeah.
And I think, and while, let's say vice versa, where public show of love for a woman is very important to a woman. So yeah, I agree that, we have lost that. Yeah, we have lost that, and kind of shows in modern day relationships, right? Divorce is higher than ever, and it's shattering relationships. Men and women are more single than ever. So, but my little controversial thought is that I think it's not men knowing how to love a woman. I think it's women not knowing how to respect men. Because, again, divorce, yes, is higher than ever, but women are the ones filing for divorce. So I think, and women are, what's the difference between now and, let's say, 50 years ago? Well, women are more outspoken. Women are more independent, strong bees than ever. So I think women less and less respect men in general, let alone respect man in the relationship. So, I mean, it may seem like I'm bagging on women, but I kind of feel like women are source of a lot of women are the source of the destruction of relationships. All right, let's continue.
Okay, yeah, let's go forward on that note.
I use that analogy. Let me explain what I mean by that. I use that analogy of heels. It flew right over your head. The reason why I asked you that question is, would you accept me if I wore heels? You're saying yes to be funny. You would not accept a feminine man, so why should I accept a masculine woman that wants to push back on me?
I think that you can
point.
I think you admitting that you're wrong and stepping down and trying to learn from your mistakes is a feminine trait, because you need to be submissive into form to keep going. Because you're stepping down. You're admitting to being a failure because you can move on.
I don't think she
That's a feminine
understands
trait.
because,
That's a feminine trait.
She pegs her husband.
I would absolutely call it that way. And having someone tell you that you're wrong, it's going to motivate you to the truth.
Like, calm down, put your dick away.
All right, listen, guys, I would love to do this Melina thing for another 10 hours. We have to wrap up in 15 minutes. We have to wrap up in 15 minutes, and I want to get one more thing, and I want to get some super chats. We have one girl that wants to make a statement. I said I would do that. We'll move on to the last topic.
Thank you. All I want to say is that modern women right now are having a victim mentality, a mentality that is towards entitlement, towards disrespecting men primarily. And I'm saying this to
Exactly
someone
what I
who
said.
was born and raised in Colombia, who came here and saw the cultural differences of how the values have shifted towards disrespecting, towards treating you guys incorrectly, and at the same time compromising who we are as women, because we have to take care of ourselves, we have to value ourselves, and we shouldn't be giving ourselves just to anyone. So that's all I gotta say. Value yourself, love yourself, so that way you can have a better future.
Respect. Okay. All right. Last thoughts. Here, well, we got one more clip. So we talked about this whole thing. Talked about love, and finding love, and then after love comes, some may say, marriage. Love and marriage, and the baby carries that whole thing. So last time you guys were on my show, we talked about what a man should do, what things a man must accomplish before he considers getting married. We had that whole conversation, and of course, Ben Shapiro got wind of it and weighed in on it. Now, Ben Shapiro and I, although both being Jewish, could have not have any more different lifestyles as it possibly is.
Them boys in the house.
Them boys are here. Okay. So he weighed in on your thoughts on marriage.
Yeah.
And I'm more on the Myron school of things than the Ben Shapiro school of things. So we have this clip teed up. Go ahead.
In today's day and age, you shouldn't be getting married until you're at least 35.
That was my next question for you. As a man, what age
What about
should you
women?
consider getting married?
So I have, this is my thing that I tell guys. I think 35 years old, had slept with at least 50 women, 100K per year, you're in shape, and you got 6 months to 1 year of savings.
All right, done. I got to get married. I've done all that. That's easy.
Here's the Republic right there. So that is a recipe for a terrible marriage, by the way, guys. Waiting until you're 35 and have slept with 50 women, that is a terrible recipe for marriage by every available data point. It turns out that you are much better in terms of getting married if you get married younger, if you do not have a wide variety of sexual partners.
For women,
about, being in shape and having money and all the rest. Like, you should try to do that, generally speaking. But this notion that you wait until you're 35, you've already made a bevy of mistakes that have shaped your character and made you much more rigid as a person, and that you should have had a basis of comparison in terms of sex of dozens and dozens and dozens of women. No, the data do not support this, and it's stupid.
I say all the time.
So how many people agree with Ben Shapiro on this, by the way? Okay. How many people agree with myself and Myron on this? All right.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
I know some people are going to say you're just making and coping, trying to find a way to have sex with a bunch of girls. So let me ask the ladies a question. Average 25-year-old woman went to college in the United States. Okay? What do you think the average body count is? I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your peers or women that you know, not you. Okay? On average, what do you think it is? We'll start right here and then work our way.
On average, I think it's
25-year-old girl, went to college, has a job.
It's in that 20 to 50 range, somewhere in that. I know.
20 to 50 bodies?
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say the same.
Because I just looked this stat up.
20 to 50?
Yeah, I would say the same because the people I surrounded myself with.
What about you?
The question is, an average 25-year-old
Average
woman?
25-year-old woman, how many sexual partners do you think they have by the time they're 25 years old and United
That
States?
went to college.
That went to college. It does. We'll keep it simple, right?
Average
Or we can
okay.
say didn't go to college, whatever.
25-year-old woman in
25-year-old
America.
girl in the United States. This could go based off your peers.
You're saying 20 plus.
You've been around.
You're saying 20 plus.
She said
30 to 50.
I said 20 to 50.
Wow, I gotta hear these
What do you
answers.
think?
Go ahead.
Well, from 3 to 10.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
No, I would say 10.
10?
3 to 10 is probably.
3 to 10. Okay.
7?
7?
Yeah, I'd say the average about 10.
Ladies, one more time. This is not you. I'm
Yeah.
talking about your peers, girls you know, a conglomerate of all the females in your life that you've come across or you've known.
Yeah, I'm definitely not talking about myself.
Okay. You said what? 3 to 10? Okay.
Just say a number, guys. Yeah, it's 3 to 10 thing. It's like
35.
35?
35.
25.
I've never even heard a girl admit 20. Not one single woman I've ever met in my entire life. I know girls under exaggerate their numbers though, right? 10 to 20 probably.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Girls on the couch?
Sadly, I know women that have had a body count of over 100. So
That's the average though, really?
Well, we're saying average. I think you're talking average. You think it's 100?
Average is
So-
100.
She said 100?
You're lying.
Did she say 100?
we can say 80.
Shout out to Colombia in the house. What's up?
Wait, hold on.
We're talking about the United States, right?
Yeah, we're talking about the United States, not Colombia, where prostitution
No,
is
yeah,
like.
yeah. I went to school here. Yeah. I went to Tulane.
20?
And I would say average ballpark 80.
Damn. Okay. All right.
What? I would
I'll go
say
somewhere
about,
with
This house is
I'm
lying.
going
It's
somewhere with
okay.
this.
I would say
All right, what about you?
20.
What about you? How many you think the average woman? How many?
About 20.
20. Cool. What about you?
Average,
Yeah.
I would say it's safe to say 30.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Well, yeah. Just out of curiosity, who thinks the woman needs to be more sexually experienced for the relationship to work? Raise your hands. Nobody? That's why you need to fuck 50 bitches. Right? Okay.
Wait.
24.
24? Okay.
Maybe like in their 20s.
In their 20s? Okay.
3 to 10s.
3 to 10? Okay.
5 to 20.
20? Okay.
I would have to say about 30.
30? Okay.
The average is herpes.
Now, okay. Now, with a show of hands, ladies, right? Okay. So it seems to me from all of your different answers, let's go ahead and peg it around 20, right? Would it be fair to say 20 to 25 here? From everybody's answers, if I'm going to go ahead and average it out. So let's say it's around 20 to 25. Let me ask you this. For a relationship to last, who has to be more sexually experienced in a relationship, the man or the woman?
Man.
Okay, raise your hands if you think the man needs to be more sexually experienced for the relationship to work. Raise your hands nice and high. Nice and high. I want to see what the thing is. Okay, so that's the majority. Now, just out of curiosity, who thinks the woman needs to be more sexually experienced for the relationship to work? Raise your hands. Nobody? That's why you need to fuck 50 bitches. People think I'm just over here. People think I'm just over here being a dickhead or being a misogynist, whatever. By their own answers, the average girl has a high body count. By their own accord, the man needs to be more sexually experienced. So it is what it is.
But
I'm telling you guys to acclimate to the current sexual marketplace.
Right? But we care
Can I
about
just
men
finish my
being good
sentence
in
real
bed.
fast?
We're wrapping up.
You need to acclimate to the current sexual marketplace, guys.
By the way, if that wasn't a drop the mic moment, I don't know what was.
I believe I had something. Go ahead.
It doesn't seem like a lot of men care about it, right? A lot of men don't care about women being good in bed at all.
But women care about men being good in bed.
I want to say this, right? One of my best experience in sex was with a virgin. Okay? Oh, and she was wild, which is insane. It's weird, right? Men, it's a pee in a hole. It's just really it, right? I don't know what you think men are thinking about. Oh, I want a porn star. No, I think men in general would love a woman that's just enthusiastic, that she wants you.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think. Like she's what? She's like doing the splits and having you go to the back door, and then I don't know. It's just all. The thing is that you can learn on the way, or you could experiment. But like, what do you mean a woman needs to be good? I mean, like, it's. I don't know about you, but I mean, generally, women just lay there. A lot of times, like, you're the one who's like exhausting your back, trying to get doing the action. I mean, come on. It's like, what do you think average men are dating? Porn stars? I mean, like, we're not like flipping her over, doing her like. It's just like, I don't need a woman that's like a porn star that knows all these moves that I've never even heard of, and that's kind of like. That's also tells me a lot if a woman is just like so crazy with like different moves. Oh, let's do this way. Let's do it that way. Oh, let's do this. That. And it's like, what? Where's this all coming from? Because if you've been there, you've done that, it's not special anymore. And it's not like you're going on a journey, a sexual journey together. No, you know it all, and now you know what you want. So because of Chad and Tyrone have already hit that like crazy. So, I mean, like, that's why women are always saying, like, oh, you don't want a woman that's experienced? Why? I mean, what is that gonna? That doesn't add any value to a man that a woman's like, I don't know, knows how to throw it back. It doesn't add any value. Men just like sex is like, you know, like I said, a pee in a hole. So it's like, I mean, that's why I think it's crazy. But what do you think?
I'm along your lines. I mean, the whole time he was talking, I was sort of thinking, like, I think the best case scenario. I get it that it's rare these days, but two virgins, right? Two virgins come up together, right? High school sweethearts. Maybe in high school
which is funny. The Ben Shapiro, you know him?
I'm familiar, a little bit familiar. I don't know much.
I believe I stand correct. If I'm wrong, you know, I'm wrong. But I believe him and his wife were virgins, right?
Okay.
They were each other's first. So
okay.
Yeah. Again, sometimes people, like I said, people take him necessarily out of context. When you think about the context, like he said, he's thinking about today's age. Women are not virgins like that. I mean, it's a rare thing where you find a virgin. So really, if a man waits and hoping that he will find a virgin, well, he'll be waiting until you. I don't know when you will get that. So that's the thing.
And I get that, but it's not my point that both should be virgins. I'm saying that works. Are people with little sexual experience on both sides have long-lasting, you know, marriages, fantastic relationships. I think there's something about his approach. Like you said, Myron, he said on the show already, and we can talk about it more later, like when we sum up what we think about this whole thing. But he's got more than one girl, right?
Yeah.
Like polyamorous, and he's
on his side only.
right. And he's talking to a room full of, like, I don't know what the word is. It's a lot of single millennials and people who are sort of like, you know, living their best single life or have before they got into any kind of relationship. And I just feel like when he talks about relationships and sex and love and how to get a woman and keep a woman, it doesn't sound like he's factoring in the reasons a lot of us get into relationships. I mean, it's not the same for everybody. It might not be the same for him. But
no, I would say this, right? I do see the point where he's talking about a certain type of man.
Yeah.
The man that he's talking about is technically the man like him, who is like, he's a millionaire, right? He makes a lot of money. No woman has been there with him, right? She wasn't there. He hadn't had no woman going on the journey of him making money. So no woman is built for him. So technically, he's a built man. So any woman in his life is finding him at his finish line. And I think that's the key, right? Where he talks about, let's say this. And Ben Shapiro is different. He had a wife that he built with, that they were each other's first, I think. So they built the life together. So those are two drastically different, you know, spectrums, right? So he's talking to men, and he also says it a lot, you know, he's just talking to certain type of men that, you know, build yourself up, make your money. Well, if you're that type of person that, you know, no woman is with you while you're building yourself up, well, then let's say now you're a millionaire. Well, I think it will kind of fall in line. You are a millionaire, get that sexual experience, have 50 women, right? And now you understand how women are as a millionaire. So, you know, I think it fits for that type of person.
Yeah. Why would that type of person even get married, I guess? Like, all right, let me ask you. I gotta ask you. Why do you think, like, what role would a woman play in Myron's life from your point of view?
I would say that's
woman.
Kids.
Okay.
I've learned at my age, I think men a certain type, well, the only reason they'll get married is kids.
Okay.
There's really no benefit for it. Yeah, like you said, why would he get married? Well, the only and I think he said too, he'd probably get married outside of the legal shit. But if if men do get married in the legal sense, well, the only reason you will get married is to have kids.
Okay. So see, that's coming from a different perspective than like honestly, if I got married, if I got in a relationship, it's because I mean, we might have kids. I might want kids, but I want a friend and a partner.
Well, technically, you don't need a marriage for that.
Well, no, you don't. But I'm just saying, like, even if you're not calling marriage, like, why even get into a relationship, right? And not everybody does it for the same reasons. But if I'm looking for a friend and a partner, like, then there's a lot more to it than just knowing how to have sex and having money. You know what I mean? And being fit. Like I get it. None of those are bad things by themselves. But it seems like he's talking about get a woman. Like if you're looking for a woman so you can satisfy your need for sex and having kids, right?
Well, I would say, I mean, you got to think of the context, right? Let's say a magical world where you had money, you were in immaculate shape, you were really tall, you were, I don't know, like I said, like if you were the best version of yourself that you could ever be, well, women would be more attracted to that. So it will make it easier for you to find that partner that you want to be with. So really, I see where, yeah, money, looks, whatever, it helps facilitate more options for a man. It gives him more of a bigger pool to play with. So, that's the thing.
Right, but you're right. I agree completely. But his emphasis on those things, like I still think those are all superficial things. I'm not saying they're not.
My controversial thing, women are superficial. That's their goal. They love superficial things. I'm sorry. They love superficial things, and then the morals and characters, that's just a plus. I'm sorry. I'm not saying all, but I say majority of women.
So, like, what kind of woman do you want?
I mean, look, again, I do want a woman that, respect, loyal, but at the end of the day, you gotta think. At the end of the day, what's going to attract that woman that would give me what I want? Well, you gotta have what she's attracted to. So I don't know. So I said it. Women, they love certain things, and that's just how it is.
Okay, all right. I want to talk about it more when this is over. I'm gonna gather my thoughts, but I feel like he's talking about a certain type of situation, and it's a situation where either a marriage or a relationship is a utility. You see what I'm saying? There's this whole other side to and it's not what everybody's interested in. I'm not saying this goes for everybody, but there's this whole other side to relationships and marriage that is about love and friendship and partnership, and it's corny. But if you ask Ben Shapiro, that's on his priority list. If you ask Myron, it's not on his priority list. I'm not judging either of them for that, but I don't feel. But I'm just pointing out that I don't think that's something somebody like Myron seems to care much about.
But don't you think that marriage is technically a utility?
There's utility to it,
but it's technically. I mean, it's a contract. It's practically a business.
And
because you gotta think the idea. You're right. Partner, love, stuff like that. That is a magical thing. But you can have that exact same thing with just a relationship, a long-term partner.
But I'm a religious person, so I think God established marriage,
but God didn't establish the paper part. You could like I know a lot of Muslim culture where there's no paper. You just say you are. It's more like it's like a promise or
it's a commitment.
Yeah, kind of like it's a commitment. You're promising that this is your partner for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But that's.
And if I believe in that, I'm not even thinking about.
And I didn't know, but I think that's the context, right? Where, yeah, he probably sees the marriage, the U.S. version of marriage, right? The Western culture version of marriage with that piece of paper. It is a utility. It's a business proposition kind of thing.
But that's my point. He's looking at it from like a business / utility point of view.
Yeah.
And you can't really argue with his points if you're looking at it from just that point of view. But then when he says something like that's why you got to have sex with 50 women, and you got to have 100K, and you got to be 35 before you consider getting married. To a lot of us who aren't not saying not thinking about that at all, but to a lot of us who want more than just utility, that sounds crazy. You see what I'm saying?
No. I see your point.
That's my point.
You're right. You're right. I think, and to be honest, like I was like that too. I never saw marriage like a business until later in life. But sadly, like marriage itself, Western marriage, the marriage with the paper, it is pretty much a business now. And I see that for what it is. Personally, what I would want is that I want to see marriage without that piece of paper. Because I still have, I mean, you probably do, but I probably see the value in like the long-term commitment where, yeah, it is, I see you as my wife already. The paper, it's just for the state, it's just for the country to see you as my wife. But I mean, that part where you think about that now, I think that's why he said, he has these stipulation where for the men to be at their best, spot where they could, so I like a man that's 35, he's hopefully as wise as he could be. A man that has 50 bodies, hopefully he's as experienced with women as he can be. A man that has a lot of money, well, he's hopefully financially stable as he can be to make good decisions in this business kind of adventure where he's marrying someone that could F him over. So I see, and I think that's the context he's speaking of, where, yeah, he's like, it's they're at, and again, right? Me and you, although we're not rich or anything, so a woman gets with us, what is she gonna get? She's not gonna get like a whole bunch, right? But yeah, I see that tax bracket of men. Well, a woman can really turn her life around by divorcing this type of man. So I can see that. I do think that men who's of our caliber, of our, tax bracket, should also see what marriage really is in today's day and age. I'm on board with you how I view marriage, the love, the commitment, the partnership. But I've learned, because of the stories I've heard, even men like us, right? Even though we don't have a whole lot, women will still destroy you and take whatever you have. Even the little you have, she will still take it. That's one thing where I've learned that, like, yeah, we don't have a lot, but what like I said, again, what Myron being a millionaire, what a woman could take from him. Let's say he's a millionaire and she takes half. Well, half of $1 million, you're still 500,000, money, right? For us, it's going to be harder. Like, let's say we have 40K. Well, she takes half. 20K is like hard to live on. That's the thing, where it will still hurt us a lot. It may not be a large amount of money she's taking, but because of our life, it will hurt a lot. So I do want average men, to actually view marriage. I'm not saying that men should, but maybe this is the information, right? You do what you will. Men, you want to do what you want. You want to think how marriage you want to think about? Fine. But I'd rather give men the information where, personally, I have grown to view marriage differently, because I've heard so many sad stories of average men being destroyed by marriage. The kids taken away, whatever money they have taken away, the house that they bought with their wife taken away from them. So it's like, it just changed my mind about what modern day marriage is. And that's what I'm saying. Like, me and you were old school, but it's like, It does not work in today's day and age. So it is a something that I would like men to be warned about. And hell, I'm hoping that this journey will, make you see something different too. Where yes, religious, like I get it. Being married in the eye of God, having those pieces of paper is, it's legally binding by whatever. But at the end of the day, I'd rather just in my heart, this is my wife, rather than the state knows this is my wife. That I've changed my views on how I view marriage because of the terrible stories I see. It doesn't change how I would act to a woman that I see a long-term commitment with. This is my marriage. This is my wife. Although not in paper, I'm not betraying her. I still value her. Whatever, it's the exact same thing, kind of. But it's just, I think the paper is. I always say, just like we talked about before, where let's say, what is it? How the government gives you money, subsidy, all this shit. It's like when you have a safety net, it kind of gives you a way out if you want to take it. Instead of if you had no safety net, right? Where you don't get anything from a man, maybe you will put more effort in it because let's say you leave this man, you're not going to get nothing. So you might as well, I'm in this, so I'm going to try to make it work. And that's how I see it, how I think about it, is that divorce, alimony, child support, all this shit has given women a safety net if they are tired and don't want to work on a relationship that they chose to be in. All right? Like I said, I only condone divorce from cheating and abuse. I cannot see any other situation that I could say you should get a divorce. I don't.
I agree with you on that.
But I'm telling you, one of the biggest one of the biggest reasoning for divorce is just they don't feel like it. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. A lot of women just say that I don't want to be it anymore. That's the craziness. You chose this man for this high level commitment, but now you just don't feel it, and that's why I agree with Myron in a sense, or I agree with a lot of the red pill. Or what I'm saying is that women will just give up on a relationship because they don't feel it.
All right, so I have more to say about that, and I do want to talk to you about. I do want to talk a little bit more about the idea of marriage legally, with like getting a piece of paper. I actually think that's important, and the other side of it and what it means. I want to have that discussion, but we can
continue.
Yeah.
Point, yeah, but I don't. But it's only because men care about the status of fucking women. That's what it is.
And the stat is 19. I actually looked it up before the show.
You just gotta focus on what you want to get.
I don't
If you
even
want
think that
men,
men
you
really
take
do like
advice from
sex. I think
men.
it's just nice to say that you fucked a lot of people. That's what it seems like. Only men care about. Absolutely, because you would rather pick a girl
moderators.
that
Don't you and your husband fuck everybody
with no sexual
openly,
experience
really?
at all. Right?
Look, it's very simple.
Eric,
Since the beginning of time, men have preferred virgins. I don't make the rules. I
Kind
just
of
report
boring,
them.
isn't it?
No, what that means is that men prefer women that
But that
have.
means you don't like sex.
Like
You don't
sex-
like sex in that case. You only like the status of having sex with a lot of people.
no, you didn't train her.
She's a virgin, she's clearly not going to be that good, right?
What? That's your job as the man to do what I said at the top of the show, coach her.
But why wouldn't you just have someone that's already good in bed? Why would you want someone that is like a fucking 10 out of 10 at blowjobs? Why wouldn't you pick that instead?
I mean,
It's like I can't be amazed. I don't know about you, right? Is that I never had a porn star give me a blowjob. So really, it's like, it's like I can't imagine a blowjob from, let's say, a virgin to a woman that's been with 100 men. How different it would be. Especially let's think about this. The virgin you spend years on, well, you can improve on things, or maybe. I like it that, she enjoys it, or what she wants. She wants me. So it's not like, okay, a woman that's done it 100 times, like, you know what? oh my god, I missed the other guy. I missed the other guy's penis. I mean, it's like that. That's happened, right? That's happened to men. Where that's why I said it's ridiculous that women in modern day age think that women having experience is something special. It's not. That doesn't make sex worse. I mean, like, what are you talking about? That's what I'm saying. What?
All right, I don't think experience is necessary to have a good relationship. I think it does work both ways. I know guys who have been like, yeah, she's terrible in bed. She just lays there. She's a dead fish, or she doesn't know what to do. This, that, the third. You know what I mean?
But that's also enthusiasm.
Women, I hear you. I hear you. But for it to work, no matter how much experience you have, it's more about learning your partner, right? That's the most important thing. Whatever I know about all the other women I've been with, I'm not with them now. If I'm with this one person, I need to learn what makes her happy. I may know all kinds of different techniques, but it's more important whether I know all the things or whether I know nothing at all. The most important thing is that I ask her what would make her happy, and that she communicate that to me, and vice versa. And then you learn each other, and all the other techniques that I know from all my experience, the only ones that matter are the ones that make her happy, right? So you can either learn that with no experience, or you can have all the experience in the world, and most of it doesn't mean anything because you only see what you know.
Here's my this is maybe a little controversial, right? But for men, I think it's important because not necessarily technique or anything special. It's that it's to get that shit out of you. Because I think men in general, they wander with their eyes, right? They will always like, oh wow, that girl's hot. I wonder how. It's like it's hard, right? A good man controls that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that most men will always have that kind of temptation in their head. Where I think a man that, let's say this, a man that's been with 50 women, well, okay, having more sex with another woman is not like anything special. It's just pure sex with a woman is nothing special, right? That's why I'm saying, like, I think a man with experience, and I agree with you, right? Too much bodies for a man is not a good thing either. But I think a man that's, let's say he's been with 10 women, right? I think it's important for men to get the whole pedalization of sex, out of his system, because I think men are they're hormonally dispositioned to want to have sex and just constantly having sex. So I think men, let's say,
I think men do want sex, and I think men really just want
sex. I think, like, if a man, let's say, if he's been with 50 women, hopefully that desire for just the carnal lust of it, of just sex, is kind of out of his system, where he only values just the affection, the relationship, the emotional side of sex. That's why I more take out of it, where I think it's I mean, again, like I said, it's men shouldn't have such a high body count, but I mean, where I see the benefit out of it is that part where men, to get that little nagging feeling out of their system, if they have a lot of experience, in my view.
Okay. Yeah, I already know what else to say about that. I mean, I if you have so here's where what I was saying earlier comes into play. You might have a lust and an urge for sex, but if you also have a friend or a partner that you love, then you really only want to give that to her. And I know we'll say, well, that's not realistic. Men always want sex. But the men who really try hard to control it, or who rein it in, are the ones who love their partners. And you really only want to share it with your partner. You see what I'm saying? So
no, again, I agree with you. But I also see that, I'm saying I'm looking at general society where men, they really desire sex a lot, you know. So it's like, yeah, and I've said before, I'm more of a man who I'm not into one night stands. I like I like sex with a bit of emotion to it. But I cannot lie where there are times where I just want to have sex. I just want to get a nut out, kind of crap like that, right? So I can understand that part too, where, and that's why I said I'm saying this maybe in general, where I don't think it's necessarily a terrible thing for men to have more experience than a woman, because necessarily women, I think it's a higher degree where women want more emotion based sex, in my opinion. So for man, I just think that if, let's say, if he has a wealth of experience, hopefully he's getting that idea out of his mind where he's so lust driven, right? That's what I'm thinking about.
But Myron's also saying, like when he said a man should sleep with 50 women, the next thing he said was, how many guys have you women slept with? So he's making a point that you need the experience to please the woman, because some women just want to get their nut too. And that's where I come to the point where he's describing people who, I guess, would need each other for utility.
You see, well, I think it's more like, you know, modern
day. You can't satisfy her if you don't have the experience.
And I think that's kind of like,
has the experience.
But but again, he is talking about the context is modern day age, right? It's the here and now. Like most women will say, I want a man with experience. Most women do. I've seen it. While men, rarely does a man ask for a woman with experience. So it's more like he's playing with the reality of what it is right now with how society is. Instead of he's just giving information where he wants, right? Technically, we all understand it. This is how we want reality to be, but it's not like that. Where women prefer men with experience. Most women would not say, I want a virgin, I want to marry a virgin. No, right? But a lot of men wouldn't mind, or they would. I think a lot of men would ask for. I'm not saying necessarily a virgin, but a lot of men would ask a woman that's been with very little men. I know that's a true fact that there's more men that would ask for a woman that's not been with dozens of men, right? A body count under 5, you know. So, but on the flip side, women would want a man with a high amount of experience. Again, I like to bring this up that it's not just sexual experience. It's just a man that, let's say, he's charming, he's funny, he's good talk. He talks to women well. He knows how to talk to women. Well, that comes with experience with women. The difference between a virgin and a man that's been with 50 women. Well, the man that's been 50 women, proven he can talk to 50 women. The man that's a virgin, well, he's proven that he's not talking to any women. So that's the thing that there's some context to it where a man that's been with a lot of women, he's obviously smooth, obviously has some kind of reasoning why all these women want to be with him. While a man that's a virgin, well, let's say he's 35 and a virgin, that's got to say something where, wow, you're a virgin at 35? Why? So, you know.
So that's like, so it's almost like you're saying, this is the case, so this is how you need to act. And then you act that way and you make it the case. You see what I'm saying? So I think that has almost as much to do with people not getting married now as just about anything else. You don't need, if you just want to have sex, you just want to get experience, you don't need marriage for that, right? So if you're a guy who has all those things and you can sleep with anyone when you want, if you just want sex, you don't need to get married. If the woman can pull any guy, if she's had a bunch of guys and she knows she can get more and she knows what she's doing, she doesn't need to marry anybody to have sex. She doesn't, if she's a career woman, she doesn't need to marry anybody to make money. Same for the guy. He doesn't need a woman in his life if he's got everything else, and the only thing he wants is sex. You see what I'm saying? So then you're like, all right, so this is how women are. This is how women are. So guys, this is how you need to be. And I'm not blaming him for this or anything, or even saying it's that bad of a thing, but you're sort of training people to be the kind of people who don't need marriage. Like by the time I've slept with 50 women.
No, I see your point. I you know what? I agree with you, right? You're pretty much, you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong in that sense, but technically, and you know what? We should make this an episode where we're talking about this more. But at the end of the day, marriage is not beneficial to men. It's not, right? So I get it, right? Are you going to be the martyr, right? Are you going to be the one to change that? No individual man is really dying to be the one to change how society really is, because you're not going to change it unless every man or most men do it. So let's say this: if the two of us are the difference, well, two of us does not change society. So I mean, although yeah, we're trying to promote something a little bit different, but at the end of the day, you know, I believe, in my view, is that society is what it is. It's
And
not
I'm
gonna.
not here to tell people they have to get married.
No, I do get that. I'm more thinking about, like you're saying, like, okay, you know, it's kind of maybe like a cycle where, you know, you're doing it and it's already like that, so you're pretty much perpetuating it.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I mean, you know, it's like, okay, I mean, like, there's nothing you can do, really. It's like,
I disagree, because
really,
even though we perpetuate it, even though that's the cycle, there are people like me who want something different. And I think I think it's nuts to think that a guy might that if there are men who want marriage because they want love and partnership, then there are women who want marriage for the same reasons. And we can talk about it more. And then, so traditionally and religiously, marriage is making a vow to a person to be their partner forever, for the rest of your life, right? And then it's also, when you stick to it, I understand it. We talked a lot about marriages not working and what problems that cause. But when you stick to it, marriage is a protection, right? And it's a protection for both. I mean, the woman takes my last name, the kids get my last name. They can legally inherit what I have. There's tax benefits for that. In the event of a terrible accident, God forbid, there's benefits for the surviving spouse and for the family. You see what I'm saying?
So, no, and that's kind of technically why I said, if you're gonna have kids, that's the benefit of having marriage.
Right. But so the way I see it is, if you meet someone who is a friend and a partner, someone you love, then you're willing to make a vow to be with them forever, then so that's the first tier, right? That love, friendship, partnership, making a vow to stick with that person. And then, now that you've made that vow and this is someone you love, giving them the legal protection of marriage. That would be what I would want. Now, if you get rid of the love part, if you move the friendship and partnership part under the legal part, and you're looking at the legal and the benefits versus the cons of marriage at the top without the other two things, I get it. Why get married? Because you're probably only getting yourself in trouble if you don't have the other things. That's so. And I'm not making a judgment about whether that's wrong or right. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that a lot of the advice I hear from Myron, and it's good to be aware of it, but a lot of the advice that comes from Myron I think comes from a point of view of someone who, like you said, wants to have kids. They would get married because they want to have kids. So they would have a woman in their life just to satisfy their need for sex and offspring. But it doesn't factor in, like, it doesn't factor in the other things I talked about, which is why sometimes, and he doesn't say that outright, but that's why a lot of people are taken aback. That's why I'm taken aback by it sometimes. Because when he talks about you need a woman who's you need a woman who's not a career woman. You need a woman who's just going to follow your lead and listen. You need a woman who and you need to have this much money, and you need to be this age, and you need to be this fit, and you need to learn how to run a household this way. He's talking about it like a business. And there are aspects of a marriage that are business-like, but if you want marriage for reasons like friendship and love, then all that business stuff he's talking about, you know what I mean?
I mean, okay. I'll say this, right? I technically have changed my mind in the sense that marriage is a business. All the things that you said, right? After the friendship and love, it becomes a business, right?
Well,
the tax, the the power of attorney, all these things, right? Besides for maybe the name part, right? Changing the name. I mean, it's really you just stepped into the business section, right? But let me say this, right? You have to think about this. No one, and you're right that men like us are probably the difference. But at the end of the day, let's hypothetical question, right? Or hypothetical scenario. You become the best-selling author, New York Times best-selling author, right? Your all your books are being options for movies, right? You're making buku amount of money. No woman is with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now your name is in on entertainment, all this crap, right? Your name is everywhere. You're well off. Now a woman comes into your life, and you fell in love with this woman. This woman falls in love with you, but you have to think now. This woman chose you at the finish line. You've already been made. You've already experienced the hardship. You know all the sleepless nights to get your books made. All this stuff. So at the end of the day, where now I get it. She wants to now get married. All this stuff. Well, it turns into a business because there is ramifications. And there are men that just think about the love aspect, the partnership, all this stuff, and then at the end of the day, I've seen it where love can change. A woman can say, "I love you so much. You're my soulmate today." 10 years later, it's like, "Oh, I'm bored of you." That happens, and I'm not saying that it will happen, but I'm saying that it's happened to other men, and you do it. And it's statistics, right? 50%. And I could be wrong, but over 50% of marriages fail. And then 50% of those marriages, 80% of those marriages are fouled by women. It's not an equal amount. So it's hard for me to say that, okay, for men to, value marriage. It should be just love, partnership. It's an amazing thing. I love commitment. I love marriage. I do, but it's like, you have to also look back on it, look from the outside in, where you say this man and I've heard so many stories, right, about the men killing themselves and men being absolutely destroyed because of now the business of marriage. Because I can tell you this, the state, they actually make money off of you from getting a divorce. So every time you send money for your child support, for alimony, for anything, the state, the government gets a piece of that. So this is not like, this is not like from like a lover spat. No, this is business. People are making money off of you, money off of your sadness, your destruction, the destruction of your marriage. There are people making money off of you. Hell, your ex-wife is going to make money off of you. Okay, the state is making money off of you. So really, all these thoughts. Well, this is where like when people make money off you, that's where it comes into a business. That's the business aspect of it. I don't deny that, the benefits of marriage, I do, but at the end of the day, we all also if we and I've been like that. I've been there and I've done that, right? Where I view marriage as something amazing, something magical, something romantic. But when I sit back and hear these stories of the failed marriages, and then not failed marriages on the men part, but on a woman thinking that I don't want to be this anymore. I don't want to be in this anymore. I take a step back and wow, it's like, although I still feel the same that like I want commitment, I want monogamy, I want to be with someone the rest of my life. But who knows if I become, and I'm not saying I will, but let's say if my investments weren't panned out and I become, let's say, a millionaire, a crazy world, and we become rich, right? Well, then that means like, how can you ethically or morally or logically judge a woman that she's not going to see you? I mean, of course she might love you, but also see the benefit of if she could stop loving you and still make money from you. So that's the thing.
So
and also I'm gonna tell you this, like I said, that scenario where you're making money, you're all this stuff. She's not been with you through your hard times, so you can't necessarily judge a woman, right? She's not been with you through hard times, and I think that's what Myron is saying too. In essence, where he tells the man who's 35, if you're marrying a 35, and then if you have like, let's say you're six-figure man, well then no woman has been there through your hard times, through the rough times where, let's say you are sleeping in your car, a woman is sleeping right next to you, your woman is sleeping right next to you, or you're staying late nights trying to write your book, and she's like making you food or putting whatever, trying to provide for the household. She like where you just got lost your job, and there's scenarios, right, where that this woman has been with me through hard times. So, but let's say this, even that is sus. Where let's say the Jeff Bezos thing, that there's many women, right? They said the top richest women, how they make their money from divorce. That's how they became the richest women in the world, because of divorcing. And those are women, and I'm just saying that like, even that you should be cautious. Okay, I'm giving the best case scenario where a woman has built with you, but even that, women have left men, even if they built with them. So that's the best case scenario I'm saying, right? So that's why I'm talking about like, yes, I don't disagree with you in the notion of like what marriage should be, because like I said, I think we're old school mind, but we're not working in modern kind of ideology, because like we were talking about, like we're talking about again, even though the men like us are who we are, but if women value men like Myron, what are we going to say? Okay, women, and I'm not saying that we want many women, we just need one good woman, but if no woman is like really attracted to us or want to be with us, and I'm not trying to say that, woe is me shit, but I'm just saying in general where there's more women valuing men like him than there are women valuing us, then that says kind of something about modern society today, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that necessarily anything bad about women, but I'm saying like women, they value something different nowadays. And I said, I think we're born in a different century, right? In essence, where we have a traditional minds, but we are average men. So,
yeah, and I mean, I don't want to just keep beating on a point, but I do think so. That's so where I do see like I Myron is when he talks about when he essentially says that a man should value himself, right? Because a man who making your money, getting fit, building yourself up so that you have like self-respect and confidence means in my mind, like if you value yourself, you're not going to just give what you have to anybody, but that means you're going to make a better decision when you pick a woman, And I do think you should definitely vet your partner. You're I mean, it's true that a lot of relationships and a lot of marriages fail.
No, I 100% agree.
But
And that's the problem with nowadays, that we just don't vet our partners well enough.
yeah,
I
yeah,
100% agree with that. Men and women, we don't vet each other well enough.
yeah,
I
yeah.
100% agree. And I think, you know what? I kind of want to make an episode about that too.
Okay.
Vetting partners, because I think that's a detriment. I mean, it's been a detriment to men and women, where women complain about men complain about women, right? I think, again, this is controversial, but I think it's women's fault that, let's say this, women don't vet men well, so they choose bad men, and they don't choose good men, while men, you know, they value women just by the beauty. So they're not, because they're so desperate. Men are so desperate, so they're just getting what they can get, but they're not vetting women well because they're desperate. I think the spectrum is different. I believe men are not vetting women well because they just want a woman. I'll take anybody, kind of shit like that. While women, they're not vetting men well because they just want the toxic men, the men that are typically, that every woman wants. So I want that man too, but he's probably not a good man. So, just shit like that. Let's continue. Oh, crud.
Studios in Fort.
Oh, great.
Yo.
If she's a single mom, 80% chance the kid grows up to be a fucking school shooter. How do single dads do?
Way better.
Do fucking great.
Way better.
Men are better at everything compared to women, and women need to hear this. And you can find me at thatnigga.com.
Where did you find this dude?
Yo,
Fresh, where did you find this guy?
I'm gonna be honest, that was Myron Estico, but this is the only guy that I can say the N-word with a straight face.
I'm just gonna say, an enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Sun Tzu,
John fucking Zerka.
Right.
John Zerka.
This
He
guy.
body bagged those two losers yesterday.
Yeah.
do some Q&A. So what I do on my show is I usually call what is called a happy ending. Let's end with, there's a little double entendre right there. You got it. She's smart. So we like to say that the future looks bright here at Valuetainment. There's a lot of fucking crazy things going on in the world. Yet we keep going. You're right. Keep pushing forward. The future looks bright. So put a little silver lining on this thing. I think at the end of the day, your guys' message is super important for men. And if women are willing to listen and not be triggered, it's actually very important for them as well. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
So what would you guys say is your ideal outcome for men and women today?
I think personally speaking, I've seen it work where my grandparents were together for 70 years plus, and it worked out very well. But for the most part, because they follow their roles. So ultimately, I would hope from them hearing us speak and us giving knowledge that each person knows their role in their relationship, whether it's feminine or masculine, but they're doing their role. And ultimately, when it's said and done, they understand what their partner likes, what they don't like, and they understand it's better to have a family than be by yourself.
Amen.
Well said.
I'm gonna keep it nice and simple, but kind of explain why, for both parties to be happy. And what I mean by this is we live kind of in a world here, not even kind of, we live in a world where we prioritize the female sexual strategy and female happiness. Walk down the aisle in a white dress, man waiting for her, lives her life, gets that security, whatever. But the man a lot of the times isn't happy. There's a reason why they said, "Oh, you took the plunge," and they make fun of guys that are getting married because for a lot of guys, you know, there's a reason why she's wearing a white dress, he's wearing a black suit. It's his funeral essentially. I don't want it to be that way for men.
I never think of that.
To get in a relationship that they want to get with a girl that deserves it. We're both.
You know, I never thought of that.
You're on your purpose. You're
That's
chasing
crazy.
success.
Yeah,
She's you. And if you so choose, your value should be high enough where if you want to have other women, you should be able to be transparent about it, open about it, and give your girl the opportunity to make a conscious decision if she's willing to accept this lifestyle, right? And you guys would be surprised how honest you could be with girls if you got your shit together. So I don't want guys to be deceptive with women. I want women to also get what they want out of a relationship, which is happiness and security from that man and him provide for her, because I do believe that men need to be providers. But I also believe that men need to also work on them being happy as well. We need to prioritize both parties being happy in the relationship. And that comes from the guy being at his best version of himself and the woman doing and following that man's lead.
Well said. Well, I'll end with this. For years, I've always heard, happy wife, happy life. Happy wife, happy life. Hey, man, if your wife's happy, okay. What I've learned for sure, what I know to be true, and women, listen for a second, happy king, happy kingdom. Because if the king is happy, then the queen will be happy, and then everyone in the kingdom will be happy. But if it's happy wife and happy life, and the husband is miserable, everybody's freaking miserable. So women, would you be happy being the queen or not, I guess is the question, in a happy kingdom? Don't answer that. We'll answer that the next time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now at the end. We'll do a Q&A with Fresh and Fit.
Sorry.
But real quick, round. Oh, you got what you got?
Yes, we have one more huge super chat.
Okay.
$500 by you bless Motus.
All right.
Oh, shit.
It said
Who else?
this is an official rating on a 1 hour alcohol rates.
Yo, was that Yves Motus?
Yes, it is.
All right, so
He's
let
really
me explain
girls.
this for the ladies. He's gonna rate you on a scale of 1 to 10 and how much he would pay you for sex.
Let's skip that part.
Yeah, he's a contact check. I'll see you, man.
We don't need that. We don't need to do that.
Your hand went up. We got to get a mic over here. We got Ivan and from PBD Consulting in the house. Walk backwards. Walk backwards. The gentleman over there. Yeah, that guy. Stand up, guy. Give us your name.
And real quick, before you ask your question, guys, there's no stupid question, all right? We're all at different points in our life. If they ask a question, I don't want anybody ridiculing anybody that asks a question, because at the end of the day, we're going to make each other better. And it's tough to be a man in 2023, all right? So.
All right. Well, does this work? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's on.
Hello, everybody. My name's Andres. Shout out to Fresh and Fit. I love you guys. You guys do amazing content. I love that you preach loyalty to your fans as well, which is awesome. Something you don't see a lot nowadays. SOS, PBD, Roy Castillo, get me a sales job at Valley Entertainment, please. Also, so my question is, ladies, what do you expect your man to do?
Okay, yeah, I don't want to. I guess we'll end on this.
Okay.
On that. Let's do a round. Let's do. I always like that you get the last 4 because I talk so much. Right. So let's after that, because we're done, right? We're done with this whole episode with talking about at least this episode of Fresh and Fit. So how do you see them now? And I don't know. Have you become a fan, or what are your thoughts on everything that these 3? These, I guess, man, what is it?
Yeah, we did
2 hours in the first one, 2 hours this one. Man, we did like 6 hours on this mother.
Yeah.
So yeah, we put a lot of time in this one.
Mm-hmm.
So give me your roundup, your whole spiel, everything you thought.
So positives. I do like, and he said in his final comments, his pointing out that it's important for both parties in the relationship to be happy, that it's tough for men in 2023 to get what they want, because to get happiness because of our viewpoints on how our relationship dynamics should work. I agree with him that it's important for a man to build himself up, to be the best version of himself, because that's when you feel best about yourself. And that's when you can be the best for somebody else too. And I admire that he's out to inform other men of how to do that, because we all need help. nowadays. I can't write him off as somebody as stupid or a complete misogynist, because there are a lot of things that he said that made sense that I agree with. I do think that it's important to be educated about the overall general dynamic between men and women, and the risks you take when you get into a relationship, and when you do certain things, being aware of how women may react to those things or how others may react to those things is important. That's all in general. I think he is coming from a point of view that's very specific for him and for certain type of men and who deal with certain type of women. And I don't think that his viewpoints on the dynamic between men and women should be treated as the Bible or as like the end all be all of how things work. But I think he has a lot of useful things to say. And I don't know if it all applies to all of us, but it's good to hear. Yeah. But like I was saying before, I do think there are some he comes at it from an angle that's different from the way I would approach things. So his philosophy is very much is business minded, is utility. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying that's important to know. But then if you're someone who comes at it from a point of view like you want, like we said earlier, like I may want some things out of a relationship that he's not looking for, and so I'm gonna go about the way I'm gonna act accordingly. But it's good he's putting out good information. He's putting out good information, positive information. I still don't love the delivery all the time, and I still think he's coming at it from a certain point of view, and I think it's important to be aware of that. But it's cool. He's cool.
No, yeah, I've said it before that don't be a sheep. You don't need to. No one should be your, I don't know, God in a sense, right? Where you don't have to listen to one person everything they say. I think it's at the end of the day we're adults, so you take in the information you hear, you receive, whatever, and then you do with what you think with that information. So what he says about relationship, well, at the end of the day, I don't blame what people say, right? So whatever he says is what he says, and everyone is allowed a viewpoint. So what he says, whatever, but it's what you do with that information is the issue, right? However you interpret his information and what you do with it is on you, right? So again, if a man fails in a relationship, well, you have no one to blame but yourself, because you're the one who's failing in it. So if you took his information and, I don't know, said, I'm a high value man, I don't want to be with you, and something, I don't know, your relationship fails and constantly all your relationships failing, well, it's not about the person who gave you the information. It's about how you interpret it and how you applied it to your life, because we're adults. No one is sticking a gun to your head and telling you what to do. So I always think that it's always good to have, different point of views or just different takes on certain things, which is why I love our podcast, right? Where we are different but the same as well. So we have different aspects or different views on certain things or different takes on certain things. So I think it gives a fresh, maybe not fresh, but I guess it's a good opposing view in a sense, right? Sometimes. So that's why I always like, I watch our stuff over again. So I think it's cool. But yeah, I said, like, we're adults. We have to take accountability. I'm a stickler for accountability. So yeah. But I think that's. I mean, I think it was. I liked it. I think it was a good. The Fresh and Fit thing was good, so I think it was cool. I always like watching them. I mean, at time I'm not actively watching them a lot because it gets annoying with the women, right? It's just like they it kind of repeats itself a lot, and then hearing so many women talk at once and then kind of say a lot of stupid things, it's like it's irritating. So I don't watch them a lot, but I do like their show, right? I catch it when I can catch it. But yeah, I think they're cool. I mean, I've always liked them. I don't have a whole lot of negativity towards them. Again, I don't they're allowed their views on whatever. I don't have negativity on them because it's their views. I don't have to follow what they say or how they feel because it's what But if I could see the logic in certain things and how I implement it in my life, that's how I implement it, right? Like I said about marriage, which I think we'll talk about more. We'll talk about marriage more in the future, or all these little topic ideas we'll talk about more. But how I think my marriage is like it's been affected because of people like Fresh and Fit, but it's not just them because I get information from other sources too, like other men's stories. So that has affected my views on marriage, which we will flesh out and talk more about. But yeah, any last thoughts?
I mean, no, it was just that this was a cool experience. Yeah, it was cool to like really sit down and listen to what they have to say, and some of it I agree with, some of it I don't. Some of it I think is delivered to in a controversial, attention getting manner. But I do think overall it's I don't know. It was just interesting to hear, and it's good to get different perspectives, and like you said, do what you will with it. But yeah, it was cool to like really get a good view of what they're talking about beyond just the sensational play.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was cool. Again, I think we'll end on that note. It was a fun conversation. I think it was a fun pod. Please check out our other stuff. I mean, I think it's very fun conversations. I think our podcast is amazing, but that's me. But check out my other videos. Please, like and subscribe. It's very motivating. We are at 206. I think that's amazing, right? 206 subscribers. I think it's amazing. It's nothing. I've learned that like I'm just happy that there are some people that care or that likes to watch, our stuff, my stuff. So I'm happy. I'm thankful. But it will always help me that if you're not subscribed, you are. So it shows me that there are more people that like my stuff. But anyway, I'm just glad that you're watching. But that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you guys next time. Later.